right now. My name is Liubov. I know it's very complicated, but just now you learned a new word, a new vocabulary, which means love in Russian and Ukrainian. And for the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna be talking about communication and how open communication can change and solve basically any problem in the world. Can you just post a comment if you could hear and see me clearly, if sound coming through? It's not a really good internet today in Malaysia. So I just want to make sure we are all connected and can see and hear me.
Yes, quite clearly.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. So I work in Mindvalley, which is one of the biggest publishing companies in the world, and I've been fascinated with the topics of personal development and self-discovery. And whatever we are observing right now in the world is giving us a lot of personal development lessons, actually. And one of them is understanding that the world is not going to be the same. And for us to be able to thrive in that world that has changed through this lockdown and whatever is going to be happening next with the crisis and everything, we're going to be dealing with a lot of emotions, with a lot of uncertainty. So basically the world is becoming more complex, more fast, more unpredictable. And we as humans need to find a way how to adjust to those changes and be able to face all of the challenges. And I really think that the only thing that we need to master in that is having an open communication. And whatever I'll be talking about is called the method, which was developed by a Russian scientist and Dr. Dmitry Shemenkov, which means open dialogue. And that open dialogue starts with communication with yourself honestly. And just think in your surroundings. Do you know anyone who got ever divorced? Do you know any partners who have split in their business partnerships? Do you know anyone who has ever lied to someone else or exaggerated things? We as humans have evolved our communication in so many ways that we forgot how to communicate clearly. In our human bodies, like every cell is very, very honest to the next cell, to another tissue or whatever. So the signals are very clear. If I need this vitamin or mineral, the response will be immediate and the information will come immediately. We as humans, if we want something, for example, in relationship with your partner, you might hint, you might not say it directly, or if you want to get a raise, for example, at work, you also might, not ask for it directly or say that that's your achievements. You will be like gossiping with someone first, then trying to find a way how to manipulate or play some political games within the company. So we evolved all these layers, a lot of things that we are trying to hide our real intentions. And we just don't have the braveness and courage to speak the truth that we need to speak. And we can see how this lie that we have and the amount we have of lie in our life actually created a lot of crisis even with situation right now. I don't want to go too much. I'm not like a scientist or expert, but if we knew the real numbers from China a bit earlier, if we knew, and there is a lot of ifs that we could imagine and think about, things would be very different if people were not hiding things. And that's why that open communication is so important. I want to show you one slide which demonstrates us how humanity has evolved. And that's the trajectory of our evolution. I know it's very common to think that we are evolving through competition. As Rich was showing like diagrams right now, all these companies who are providing the same services, who will be faster, who will be doing a better job. Like we are living in a paradigm where competition is a mindset. But honestly, it didn't work. We couldn't evolve through competition. Imagine if every country that has a lockdown right now said that their scientists will not share the findings with their other scientists, or vaccine will be available only for one country, or whatever some presidents are doing. Like, and who knows how this lockdown will turn around and what will happen. But those countries who are sharing information, those companies who are teaching each other, those who are open to spread the knowledge and have partnerships, those will thrive. And the same happens on every level of biological existence. And let's imagine we are a few thousand years ago, somewhere in Africa, where all our ancestors were living. We are hunters and gatherers, and there are a few tribes, and someone just came back with a big animal, and everyone is having a feast. And that person who managed, that group of people who managed to kill that animal, what are they doing around the fire at night? How do you think? They are sharing information, how they made it happen, what tools they used, how far was the animal, in what conditions, where did they find, in what location. So the more precise they were, the better storyteller that person was, the more chances they had to survive. And the same happens on the level of antibiotics and all the viruses that happen. Those who are able to teach the smaller ones, less educated, those will survive. The people who are sharing openly and who are creating cooperation, only those ones will survive. So having that mind shift of having open communication, not hiding anything, and sharing openly the things that needs to be shared is number one thing that's important for open communication. That's an example of ants. And ants, to travel like 20, 50 kilometers on water, they come together, they hold each other, they have the eggs on top of each other, and they're just shifting. Someone goes under the water, the next one goes up. And that's how they could travel all that huge distances, the small ants gathering through a cooperation and support. We as humans, I think, really far away from that. We are living in big cities, and me being a mom in Kuala Lumpur here in Malaysia, I have never felt so lonely in this quarantine and lockdown in my life. I don't know my neighbors. I'm not allowed to go anywhere, of course. Even without lockdown, if I go out to a restaurant, I don't see people who are like welcoming, coming to want to talk to me. We used to live in tribes. We used to have that support constantly. Now being surrounded in big cities with lots of people have depression, the rates for the different mental diseases are going up, suicides are going up, suicides even for teenagers are going crazy numbers. We forgot how to communicate openly. I remember one situation a few months ago. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I came to the parents' meeting. Who is a parent, you know, sometimes you do it so the teacher sits down, tells about performance and progress of your child. So we are sitting down, and the first thing the teacher tells me, you know, Sophia is very attentive when she is doing something. She really looks in the eyes. She's really like full on attention. I think you are, as a parent, talking to her quite a lot, and you're giving her full attention. I was like, yes, like when we're with her, like we are not on the phones or anything. She's like, she's not like other kids. So imagine us, like we create these small human beings as parents, and then instead of spending time with them, we devote our time to our work. We are not giving them 100% of our attention. We don't teach them how to listen. We don't teach them how to communicate. We don't understand their emotions. So being present in communication is something that can bring us closer. And being present in that communication, we also need to be open that other person might be right and we might be wrong. And that there is no right or wrong at all. That everyone who is in a communication we always have a different view, and only through communicating the difference of views we as a group can come together. So in this chart, you could see two groups of people. One is a normal group, and that's a typical business meeting when someone comes and just delegates lists of tasks that needs to be done and never discusses like what are we doing for and how we're gonna do it and why we need to do it. That's the second group, which is a live group where everyone expresses their opinion. That's why we have like this green speech maps, like as if someone is talking. And during that communication, we come together to a common conclusion, to common goal of how the things can be and what are multiple scenarios that are possible to solve a problem or find an idea or find a solution. I wish that we were more attached to our past experience, to our expectations, and the desire of being right and control things. And other than that, we would be open to see others, to see the view of the world of other person. When I run my masterminds, I'm always fascinated how we can come up with the solutions as a group so much bigger, that collective mind that we all have when we create a support and trust and allowing everyone to express themselves freely. It's just magical. You come with such more bigger vision that can drive us further. And that mindset of having an alive group and not being attached to your own correctness and that's only your decision that's right, that's what will move us forward as I don't know, as a humanity. And seeing this different perspective as a hologram is just fascinating how much it can change in our life. So I really want to encourage you to be able to listen to others, not to answer to whatever they are saying, but just to hear what they are saying. And that would change so many things. It will save so many marriages, so many business partnerships, so many things if we are just able to know what we want and communicate it and letting other people express them. And now I would love to have some more questions as we have a few minutes left. Please.
Hey, thank you so much. That was beautiful, and I will spend all day listening today and from there on. I have a question to you and maybe also to the group. When you were talking about, how we used to cooperate and do things together and share versus now competing and trying to get more as the guy next door, do we think that in the current society everyone has that mindset, that they want to get ahead of the other guy and are competing always to be first and better? Or is it just the young people, or is it just the rich people? Is it a subsection of society? So my question is there a large portion of the society who is already sharing today and who has the mindset that they're sharing, or is everybody competing with each other?
I think there are both. And I honestly think that people who come to events like this, they are more open to partnership, cooperation, and they see the world through that lens. In Mindvalley, we have Vishen, who is our founder, wrote a book, The Code of Extraordinary Minds. So he describes 3 levels of consciousness that people have. And on level 1, like the smallest one, where the people are, those people are more in competitive mode. They are more in the victim state. They blame government. They don't take responsibility. On the second level, people start to wake up and understand, okay, I have a power to change things. I can make the things run through my rules. And on the third level, people just become the messengers. They understand that rules that they even create, might be wrong. So they just tune into that, universe, God, whatever you tell it, and they become so transparent that information just flows to them. So they live in a state of constant flow. I really love that example that my friend has shared, the Dr. Shemenkov that I mentioned in the beginning. He has there is a captain who has a ship, like that huge ship, like 30-story building with like like the biggest one that exists in the world. And he takes it like for a few months in the sea to take from one point to another. So all the captains in the world know there is one point if you go from Singapore to Japan, if you stop the engine in that point, the ship will be taken to the port of Japan without a single petrol being wasted, just by the current. If you know that right spot and you're in the current, you will just flow directly to that port. And the more we lose our desire to control things, the more we trust that whatever is happening, okay, it's happening, I'm in good, safe hands, and I'm gonna survive for this, and I'm able to adjust, adapt, change myself, and reborn myself. The more we're in the flow, the more magical things happen in life. And I just finished last weekend an event, and I was the one who was #1 in the team saying that we will never do any online events. You cannot replicate the connection you can have in offline event and online event. I don't want to do it. So we ended up doing an event, and I was organizing that event, which was an online event for 6,000 people. Coming together with parties, networking, masterminds, all that group activities that we usually have in offline experience. We managed to find the solutions to give people opportunity to experience it online. Of course, it was different. Of course, we had to come up with different solutions, but being able to adapt and have that bigger goal of serving the community and supporting our audience in this time of change was more important for me than being attached to my concept that real emotions and real connection can happen offline. So I hope I answered your question. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? I was so ready for them.